thank you so much for being here with me today, Laura. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Yeah, would you mind just telling people who you are and a little bit about who you work with and who you help?
Sure, sure. Well, my name is Laura, and I live here in Denver, Colorado. And I started my private practice in July 1st. And I work with mostly traumatized teens and those that are struggling with eating disorders, and then kind of expand from there. But that's my niche.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks. And you help so many teams. Like Denver is so lucky to have you. It's just, you are a gem. So,
Thank you.
awesome. So would you mind just sharing a little bit about kind of like where you were, what you were struggling with before you joined the Liberated Practice program?
Oh, absolutely. I was completely lost. I had paid someone to do a website for me. That was pretty much all I had. I had my name and I had that. And I wish I hadn't created my name and before I met you, but so yeah, so that's kind of, I just had the very shell and didn't really know. Like I had done some Facebook groups and they were like, how much do you want to spend on marketing? What's your marketing plan? And I'm like, oh, these are things I didn't really even know anything about. And my website was very pretty, but it was very generic. It had lovely things that I'm a listener and I'm what every therapist is, right? But it didn't have anything specific.
Yeah, it didn't really pull out your superpowers, and you have a lot of
No,
those. So now your
no.
website
I
is
didn't
like,
think I knew what my superpowers were, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're really leaning into it now, and your website now is so dialed into your personality as a therapist, which is so
Yeah.
cool. You've worked so hard. Yeah, so was there anything that almost held you back from working together?
From us,
Yeah, from joining the program?
um, sure,
Mhm.
the cost was, but there were options, and it felt like, thankfully, I have a supportive husband who said, this feels like a really good important thing for you to do. And so we talked about it and made it a priority, and so glad I did.
I'm so glad you did too. Yeah. So, what has been your biggest win, takeaway, or accomplishment that you're kind of taking away from your time in liberated practice?
There's so many. I mean, I think that having a website and knowing what, like, now I go into these groups and people are like, I'm floundering, I'm not getting very many referrals. And then everything you have taught us, people are saying, oh yeah, well, you need to do this with your website, or SEO. Like I didn't even know what SEO stood for. I was just, yeah. So knowing that, coming out of this, moving forward, I know the things I need to do to keep growing my practice, where I had no idea what success even really looked like. Like I knew I could do it, I just didn't know how to get there.
Absolutely. And how many, if I can ask, like how many clients are you up to now in your practice?
Um, well, I got a new one yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah.
um, and so I've got a solid four with like two or three hanging out maybes.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I remember late July, you still didn't even know what your niche was. And so, in the matter of 3 months, you've gone from no niche, nothing to, four clients and then these other two that are hanging out. That's so
Right,
exciting.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So, yeah, how would you say that this all has affected your life, your business, like all your takeaways from your time in the program? How has that affected your life and your business?
I'm just much more confident, like ground, like I knew I could make a practice because I'm new to Denver. I don't have very many referral sources or people that I know in the community. I feel like I know the steps that I need to take to keep this going and growing. And if and when, because it always seems to do, right, we ebb and flow with referral sources. I know where to put the emphasis to maybe go back at it and say, oh, hey, I need to do this, or oh, hey, I need to do that, as opposed to being like just totally confused as to how to grow my practice.
Amazing. And you're, I know, like phasing out of your your full-time job in order
Yeah.
to do this, which is so exciting.
Well, and I think that
yeah.
that is also the piece, right? That I've had that income coming in, and yet it distracts from being able to fully dive in and do all the things that you have set, yeah, for us to do.
Yeah, totally. So if someone were on the fence about joining Liberated Practice, what would you tell them?
Oh, I already I already spoke to someone a couple of weeks ago who's thinking about private practice and mainly doing online, and was like, this is just a total sound investment in your future and what you want your practice to look like and how to even begin. Like, when I started, I wanted to be a generalist. I didn't want to niche down. I didn't feel like that would benefit me. And at least 2 of my 4 to 5 clients are not in my niche. They just really connected with what I had to say, or what I put on my website.
That is so amazing. Yeah, it's been such a joy working with you and watching you just kind of explode and like show your gifts to the world in a very short amount of time. And you've done amazing work. So
I appreciate it.
yeah, thank you so much. Anything else you would want to add or want people to know?
No, I mean, I think I keep saying it, but it's just such a good investment, and the future of what I want to build and who I want to be as a therapist and who I want to serve and reach.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here
You're
today,
welcome.
Laura. And thank
You're
you
welcome.
yeah, thanks for everything. All right.
Thanks, Emma.